Okay. In the last session, we discussed about features of Linux. What are the features we have in Linux? In today's session, we'll discuss about file system hierarchy. Means what are the default directories we get along with the operating system, that we'll see in our today's session. Okay. These notes I will share to Telegram. Once you register with this course, then I will share to your Telegram. Okay. So when I'm explaining, I'll go with my flow. If you have any doubts, if any point is not clear, you can ask me. You can stop and you can ask me. You just message me on the chat box. I will read and I will repeat the point. Remember this point. Now what I'm telling, that is not only for today, and for the classes also. Okay. In middle, I will ask that whether you're clear or not. But if I don't ask also, you can ask me. Any doubts you have, I will explain. Remember this point. Okay, so file system hierarchy. Default directories in Linux. Directory means folder. In Windows, we call folder. In Linux, we call directory. Function is same. Folder is used to store content, right? It may be files or subfolders. Similarly, here we have directories. So now, in Windows, A and B are reserved for floppy. Whether you are using or not, A and B are reserved for floppy. It starts creating the drives from C. Now, C is a primary partition in Windows. So when you enter into your operating system, if you open your C drive, there you can see some default folders. Similarly, coming to Linux, here /, it is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. I'm repeating, / is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. It is similar to C drive in Windows. I'm repeating, it is similar to C drive in Windows. Okay, so this / contains subdirectories. These all directories are under / only. They comes automatically. You create or not, they comes automatically under /. I'm repeating, / it is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. / is a parent directory and it is similar to C drive in Windows. Means it is like primary partition, compulsory partition. Okay, so the first subdirectory under / is root. Root is the home directory for super user. Super user means administrator. In Windows, we call administrator. Here we call super user. Only name is different. Terminology we use different. Function is same. So root is the home directory for super user. Means as an administrator, if you log in into your computer and you are creating any files or directories, the data is going to store by default under root. If you want to change the location, you can change the location. Otherwise, by default, the data is going to store under root. How to store the data in different partitions, that also I will show in further classes. Okay, the next one is home. Home is the home directory for normal user. As a normal user, you logged in into your computer and you are creating any files or directories, means the data is going to store under home. And for every user, there is a directory also. Say for example, now you created a user Tom. Immediately it creates a directory as Tom. It creates a directory Tom. Where it creates the directory Tom means under home. It creates subdirectory Tom. So when Tom user logged in and Tom is creating any files or directories, the data is going to store under Tom's directory, which is under home. Now you created a user Jack. Immediately it creates a directory called Jack. Where it creates the directory means under home. Now in home directory, there are two subdirectories, Tom, Jack. Now, when Jack user logged in and Jack is creating any files or directories, the data is going to store under Jack's directory. So, home is the home directory for normal users. I'm repeating / it is a primary partition. So, it is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. / is similar to C in Windows. It contains subdirectories. This all directories under /. Root is the home directory for super user. Super user means administrator. Home is the home directory for normal user. Is this three directories are clear? Can someone respond? Can someone respond on chat box? Is this directories are clear? Done. My voice is audible, right? Everyone? It's clear, right? Voice?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Fine. Am I going fast?
No, 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 ma'am.
Fine. So I'm going with the same flow. And next is boot. Boot contains bootable files. Operating system bootable files are stored under boot. Also kernel. Up to version 6, kernel also stored under boot. What is kernel means? It is an interface between shell and hardware. So kernel also stored under boot up to version 6. The next one is sbin. Sbin contains super user commands, the commands which can be executed by super user. That commands are stored under sbin. Bin contains normal user commands, the commands which can be executed by normal users. That commands are stored under bin. See, now you logged in into normal user account and you are executing something command. Immediately it will check in bin directory for that command. If the command is available in bin directory, it will give you output. Now you logged in as a Tom user. It means normal user. And you are trying to execute something super user commands. You're trying to install. It will not allow you to execute that commands. It will not give you output because that command is not there in bin directory like that. Okay. Sbin contains super user commands, the commands which can be executed by super user. That commands are stored under sbin. Bin contains normal user commands, the commands which can be executed by normal user. That commands are stored under bin. USR contains default applications. USR contains default applications. Applications which comes along with operating system. That commands are stored, that applications are stored under USR. Applications which comes along with operating system. Some applications comes along with operating system. So that applications are stored under USR. Default applications. Like, see, when you install Windows operating system, Windows Media Player comes along with operating system, right? Similarly, here also some applications comes along with operating system. That applications are stored under USR. Where contains log file, system log files stored under where. Where contains, we can say variable files, means system log files, users information. It is like task manager in Windows. Like when you open the task manager, you can check how many users are logged in, what are the tasks they are performing, what are the applications they are running, what is the CPU used, what is the processor is used, memory is used, all the information we can check, right? Like that in Linux, where contains variable files, means system log files. How many users logged in, at what time they logged in, what are the commands they executed. Every information is stored under where. Dev contains devices information. Devices means partitions. In Windows, we call partition. In Linux, we call device. Dev contains devices information. I'm repeating forward slash. It is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. It is similar to C in Windows. It contains subdirectories. Root is the home directory for super user. If you log in as a super user and you're creating any files or directories, the data is going to store under root. Home is the home directory for normal user. As a normal user, you logged in into your computer and you're creating any files or directories, the data is going to store under home. Okay, boot contains bootable files. Operating system bootable files are stored under boot. It also contains kernel up to version 6. Sbin contains superuser commands, the commands which can be executed by superuser. That commands are stored under sbin. Bin contains normal user commands, the commands which can be executed by normal user. That commands are stored under bin. USR contains default applications which comes along with operating system. That applications are stored under USR. Var contains variable files. System log files are stored under var. Dev contains devices information. Dev contains devices information. Devices means partitions information. It contains partitions information. In Windows, we call partition. Here we call devices. Clear up to this directories, everyone? Up to this directories are clear, right?
Ma'am, could you please repeat it like USR means?
USR contains default applications which comes along with operating system. There are some default applications which comes along with the operating system. That applications are stored under USR.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am.
In Windows, we have programs files, right? Directory, program files directory is there, no? It is same like that. Like in Windows, we can find library. You have library folder in Windows, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it is same like that.
Ma'am, what about the MacBook?
In Mac also, you can find the directory.
Yes.
One moment.
Yes.
Sorry, I got a call from office. That's why I kept on hold. One moment. Dev contains devices information. ETC contains configuration file. System configuration files are stored under ETC. System configuration files are stored under ETC. So as I told you, Linux works with configuration files, no setup files, right? So that configuration files are stored under ETC. Yeah, directory, which directory required for OS, that I will tell. That also I will tell. Just wait. ETC contains configuration files. System configuration files are stored under ETC. OPT contains optional applications. Applications which we install manually. They are not compulsory to install, but if we want, we install some applications. Like if we want, we install some softwares. Like you want to install Maya software, you want to install Photoshop, you want to install something. VMware you want to install, Cisco Packet Tracer you want to install, Oracle you want to install, like that. If something, if you are installing, so that applications are stored under OPT. OPT contains optional applications, applications which we install manually. They are not compulsory to install, but we install them manually. That type of applications are stored under OPT. Media contains external devices information, means removable devices information, like external hard disk, external DVD writers, USB devices information is stored under media up to version 6. I'm repeating, dev contains devices information, means partitions information. ETC contains configuration files. All the configuration files are stored under ETC. What are the main configuration files? That I'll explain in further classes. All these directories we use in further classes. At the time you'll understand more. But as an administrator, you should know about each directory function. Even as a fresher, if you're going to any interviews, also these directories are important to know. Okay. So dev contains devices information, means partitions information. ETC contains configuration files. OPT contains optional applications, applications which we install manually. They are not compulsory to install, but if we want, we install them. So that type of applications are stored under OPT. Media contains external devices information, means removable devices information up to version 6. MNT contains partitions and their mounted directories information. Which partition is linked with which directory? That information is stored under MNT. Say, in Windows, once we create a partition and format the partition, if you double click on the partition, means we can enter into the partition and we can access it. Right? We can create content, we can delete content, we can check content directly from that partition. We can access the partition directly just by double clicking. But in Linux, once we create and format the partition also, we cannot access it directly. Then how we access the partition means we create a directory, means folder. We create a directory and we give link between the partition and the directory. That is called mounting. Then we access partition through directory. This concept I will show you practically in further classes while creating partitions. Then you will understand very clearly. Now, if I explain also, you will not get this point. Okay, but this is very easy. I'll show you it practically. So, in MNT directory, it contains information that which partition is linked with which directory. That information is stored in MNT directory. And next one is run. Run contains external devices information and kernel information from RHEL version 7. Up to version 6, kernel is stored under boot. And up to version 6, external devices information is stored under media. right? From version 7, external devices information and kernel is stored under root. So these are the directories we have. Okay, I'm repeating all the directories one more time. Forward slash, it is a parent directory or top level directory in Linux. It is similar to C in Windows. Under forward slash, we have subdirectories. Like subfolders, we have subdirectories. So the first subdirectory under forward slash is root. Root is the home directory for super user. Super user means administrator. So as a super user, you logged in into computer and you're creating any files or directories, the data is going to store under root. Home is the home directory for normal user. As a normal user, you logged in into computer and you're creating any files or directories, the data is going to store under home. Boot contains bootable files and kernel. Kernel up to version 6. Sbin contains super user commands, the commands which can be executed by super user. That commands are stored under sbin. Bin contains normal user commands, the commands which can be executed by normal user. USR contains default applications. Applications which comes along with operating system. That applications are stored under USR. Var contains variable files, means system log files are stored under var. Dev contains devices information, means partition information is stored under dev. etc contains configuration files, system configuration files are stored under etc. opt contains optional applications, applications which comes along with, sorry, OPT contains optional applications, applications which we install manually, like third-party softwares if you are installing. So that applications information is stored under OPT. It's like we can say downloads in Windows. And next one is media. Media contains external devices information, means removable devices information is stored under media. MNT contains partitions and their mounted directories information. Which partition is linked with which directory. That information is stored under MNT. Run contains external devices information and kernel information from version 7. So these are the directories we have in Linux. Is this clear? All the directories information, and I will show this directories function in further class. Practically also we use most of the directories. Is this clear, everyone? Information about the directory and notes I will share to Telegram group. Each directory information I will share the notes to your Telegram group. Okay. Clear, right? This directories.
Yes, ma'am.
Telegram ID. Once you registered with this course, they will share you the Telegram link. There will be a separate group for only this batch student. Only we will be there in that group. Okay. So you can message me separately also in the group. Also, you can message me any doubts are there. And that group will be permanent, as I told you. You can message me anytime if you have any doubts. And
Ma'am, how many days will this course extend?
30 days.
Okay, sure. And during the weekdays, right, ma'am?
Monday to Friday classes will be there.
Okay, thank you.
30 days. Sometimes I may take 2-3 days extra. If the classes, some topics, if you are asking me to repeat, if I'm repeating the topics, if I'm going slowly, means if you are asking more questions, if I'm going slow, in that case, I may take extra 2-3 days time. I'll not go fast. I'll not skip the concept. So if you ask me, I'll repeat the same practicals also. That's why sometimes I may take extra time, 2-3 days. So assume 30 to 35 days like that.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Hi, Madhuri.
Yeah,
Upcoming classes, would you teach real-time work? I mean, what Linux admin they are doing
yeah,
job?
along with practicals, I will show. Up to OS installation only 3 session. Once OS installation is completed, practical, most probably tomorrow I will do OS installation. I will show. Once OS installation is completed, regularly practicals will be there. Everything I will show practically.
Okay, and do we work on the projects, ma'am? Any projects we are having, I mean, so that we get
Actually, this
hands-on.
is about operating system, right? So
Yeah.
system administration part and network administration part regarding Linux operating system, I will
Yeah.
show
Okay,
practicals.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Once I finish this course, should I go for experience Linux administration level?
See, my classes means up to 3.5 years, you can go for the experience. 3
Okay,
to 4 years max.
ma'am. Okay.
You can apply up to that after finishing my classes.
So, thank
Not more than that. 3 to 4 years experience you can apply. From fresher, you can try.
No, I'm not a fresher. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, up to 3 to 4 years experience. No, freshers also can apply. Up to 4 years, maximum 4 years, you can apply with my course content.
Okay, fine.
Screen is
Would you
visible, right?
would you suggest how to prepare the resume like experience level?
Yeah, I will share the sample resumes. I will share.
Okay, fine.
But when you join into Telegram group, if you remind me, I will share the sample resumes.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Ma'am, these 30 days are same timing, right? Like 9 p.m.
9 p.m. to 10 p.m. This is fixed.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ma'am, after learning like Linux administration, which one is prefer? You mean like AWS or anything else?
Are you working or fresher?
No, ma'am. Fresher, ma'am. I'm studying masters in USA.
Okay. So
Yeah.
after Linux, then you can plan for AWS.
Okay, ma'am, is this useful for AWS? I mean AWS cloud security.
Sorry, coming in?
Is this Linux is useful for AWS cloud security?
Of
Is in
course,
it?
Linux, if you know Linux means easily you can complete your AWS.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah.
Even no I'm taking AWS sessions actually, but I'm telling that if you know Linux, if you understand all the servers means without anyone help like faculty's help, you can learn yourself also AWS.
Admin level or AWS DevOps level? Huh?
No, AWS, not DevOps level.
Okay. Admin level, right?
If you are planning for AWS DevOps level means you compulsory you need trainer for that to help you.
Okay.
And coming to the topic, hardware requirement. This is the minimum hardware requirement in order to install Linux. So command line interface, only command line interface. If you are using 512 MB RAM is sufficient. If you also require graphical user interface, you need up to 1 GB. And hard disk space, you need 10 GB if you are using command line interface. If you are using graphical user interface means 15 GB space is sufficient. Even if you are using 10 GB also, you can create graphical user interface. I'll show installation graphical user interface with 10 GB on. Okay, so this is the minimum hardware requirement in order to install Linux. And
So we need to have Linux operating system, ma'am, in our system, or like
yeah, if you want, see, if you are coming for these classes, compulsory you must do the practicals, right? For that we need
Yeah.
Linux operating system, but no need to install in your computer Linux operating system. There is a software called virtual machine. I'll show you.
Okay.
There is a software virtual machine. So if you just download this virtual machine, you can create a virtual computer, virtual machine you can create in this software. So there you can install Linux operating system. See, this is a virtual machine. Here I already created, see, computers I created. You can create virtually a computer. And in that computer, you can install operating system. Any operating system you can install there. So how to create a virtual machine using this software and how to install the operating system in that virtual machine also, I will show you practically. You can use virtual machine or virtual box you can use.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, which flavor are you using?
And these are the recommended partitions and their sizes. These are the recommended partitions and their sizes to install Linux operating system. These are recommended, not compulsory partitions. Then what are the compulsory partitions in Linux? Means forward slash and swap are the compulsory partitions. Forward slash is compulsory because it is a parent directory. It is similar to C in Windows, right? So C is compulsory in Windows, same like that. In Linux, forward slash is compulsory. While installing the operating system, creation of forward slash is compulsory. Because under forward slash only we have subdirectory. So it is compulsory partition. And swap also compulsory partition while installing the operating system in Linux. And this is important for interviews. What are the compulsory partitions in Linux? This question also some of the students, but freshers got this question. Forward slash and swap are the compulsory partitions in Linux. Forward slash is compulsory because it is a parent directory. So it is compulsory partition. And swap is compulsory partition. It is a virtual memory. What is swap means? It is a virtual memory. Physical memory means what? Actually, memory means what? Storage device. Physical memory means what? It is a storage device which we can touch, like RAM, ROM, hard disk. These are physical memories. Coming to swap, it is a virtual memory. It is used for storing, but we cannot touch it physically. Logically, it is available. Okay, so with the help of hard disk, we'll take some space from hard disk and we'll create this virtual memory. What is the use of creating this virtual memory means? When swap means it is used to increase the performance of RAM. Now, say for example, your RAM size is 1 GB. It means what? Using 1 GB space, it can send the data, it can receive the data. Right? Now, virtual memory, swap memory, I created with 2 GB space because swap is twice the RAM, double of the RAM. I have 1 GB RAM. Now using 2 GB space, I will create virtual memory. Now that memory, it adds to RAM. It means what? 1 plus 2, 3 GB. 1 GB RAM is there. 2 GB virtual memory space is added to RAM, which we created. Okay, so now using 3 GB space, your RAM can send the data and receive the data. So when it is working with 3 GB, the performance will increase automatically, right? So while installing the operating system, creation of virtual memory is compulsory in Linux. Even after entering to the operating system also, we can create swap memory, virtual memory in Linux. Okay, how to create virtual memory and swap memory while installing the operating system, that I will show in tomorrow's class, and how to create the swap memory after entering to the operating system, that I will show in further classes. So forward slash and swap are the compulsory partitions in Linux while installing the operating system, and remaining are recommended, not compulsory. Slash boot is recommended to avoid wastage. See, slash boot i- is required 200 to 500 MB space. In latest versions, up to 1024 MB space is enough in order to store bootable files. So if you give the space between that only 200 to 500 MB space, only if you give to slash boot means it stores only bootable files. If someone is trying to create any other files also, they cannot create because there is no sufficient place there. So, what is the use of that means while loading only bootable files are there means it loads fastly. Is something else our personal data also there means it takes time to load. So to avoid that, we give only less space between 200 to 500 MB space for slash boot to avoid wastage. It is recommended. Slash home is recommended to create while installing the operating system. It is recommended. Previously, two reasons are there. Previously, there is a concept called disk quotas. We can apply the quotas in Linux. If home directory is created while installing the operating system, then only it used to support quotas concept. But now it is not like that. That is one reason why previously we created home directory means. Second reason is to create home directory. See what I told, users data is going to store under home only, right? So if you fix some space like 500 GB something, if you fix to home directory means using that space, users can store the data. No, you don't have normal uses. This is your own laptop or desktop. Just for practice purpose, you are installing this Linux operating system. In that scenario, we don't store any data in home directory as a normal user. So no need to create this home directory. It is not compulsory to create. Okay. So next one is slash var and slash usr. These two directories are recommended in server machines. These two directories are recommended in server machines. Slash usr contains default applications. So all the applications 24/7 they will run because we don't know which employee required which application. So they'll run all the applications so that everyone can access their applications what they required. So in order to run all the applications without any interruption, they will give more space to USR in server machines. Slash var contains variable files, system log files, right? So in order to store all the users log files, users information, they will create slash var while installing the operating system, and they will give more space to var directory so that all the users logs, users information it can store. Okay, so these are the recommended partitions in Linux. While installing the operating system, I will show how to create. I'll explain again at the time. So slash, forward slash and swap are the compulsory partitions in Linux. Forward slash is compulsory because it is a parent directory. And swap is compulsory in order to increase the performance of RAM. How to install the operating system, that I will show in tomorrow's session. I'll show with CentOS. CentOS is also from Red Hat only, right? So I'll show with CentOS. So this is about today's session. We discussed about file system hierarchy. Means what are the default directories we have in Linux. Okay, in tomorrow's session, I will show how to install the operating system. So this is about today's session. Thank you for the session.